lodging. So we spent a total.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everybody and welcome to Vlogcast episode number 102. My name is Russ.
And I'm Carrie.
And we are the roads we roam. We're a couple living full-time in a Class A motorhome.
And we are in Pahrump, Nevada right now.
Yeah, it's a little warm. 95 today.
Just a little toasty.
That's why we're sitting in the shade. So I might do a little bit of post push on the light levels to try to bring it so we're not as shaded.
Doing your technical magic.
Not
I don't know
as
how you
shady.
Work that. We have been testing out, and I've been learning more about our capabilities with the solar and the generator.
So yeah, we have been running the generator a little bit, but only because it's so warm where the battery bank is. We have a probe that tells us how warm it is in there. We want to keep it under 117, but we actually have the alarm set at 107 to give us plenty of time to cool that area if needed. But if you just run the AC off the inverter, which we can do one of them, it starts to make a lot more heat in there because of the draw on the batteries. So in order to cool down the area without heating up the batteries, because we need to cool down that battery area, we have to run the AC on the generator.
Which I learned the hard way while Russ was out running errands.
Yeah, I told her. She goes, it's not dropping. And I was like, well, how are you running the AC?
And we did have a little bit of an issue with our refrigerator. So last night we noticed in the evening we were running the fridge off of propane.
Yeah.
And the temperature was starting to go up.
Yeah, steadily climbing up.
But then when we turned on the generator and it switched over to AC, right?
Yep.
The temperature started coming back down. So we realized that it wasn't broken, so we started doing a little bit of Google research, found out that it more than likely just needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, the burner, I think, needs to be cleaned. So it's called an orifice assembly.
So Russ got the things that we're supposed to have with it. We're going to try to do a DIY, but we have a mobile RV guy on call just in case we get in a little bit over our heads.
Yeah.
So we will probably document a little bit of that for our Saturday video so you can kind of see what we're talking about. And we want to make sure we pass along something that works, so this way we can test it all out and show you the right way.
Yeah, so we've got Two Doves Nation out here. Ace and Amanda called us up and said, hey guys, we were wanting to come out and boondock with you guys a little bit. They've been living the easy life for a little bit,
yeah,
and they said,
Vegas.
yeah, and they said, hey, we're itching to get out there and boondock. So we said, come on out with us, and we have our extra generator that we're letting them use, but they've been troopers. They haven't fired it up and used the AC yet.
No, not yet.
It's actually pretty nice, and that's what they're doing when you sit outside in the shade. You've got a nice breeze that comes through, so it's actually, even though it's 95 out, it's still, it feels much cooler in the shade.
Well, one of the things in the desert, especially, the way you park somewhere makes a big difference. So if you are boondocking and you have the ability to pick the direction that you're going, we tend to park north-south. And so now during the hottest part of the day, the sun is beyond the RV, and I'm really liking the size of the Class A. We don't even have to put out the awning. We're in
Exactly.
shade, but
So
it's much cooler.
What happens is the sun passes over, creates a nice shadow on the side of the RV where we're sitting, keeping cool.
And I learned that the hard way when we first bought a house out in Vegas years and years ago. People would, and I would hear people asking which direction the house faces, and it never crossed my mind to think why it would make a difference. We found out very quickly why certain windows you don't want to have facing. You don't want your big, gigantic living room windows facing that way.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Something to keep in mind when you're boondocking and you have the ability to pick your spot. Try to orient yourself north-south.
Yep.
I did want to do a shout out to Julie Anderson. So she had got her new Max a little while ago.
Nice, yeah.
And she went on her first camping trip just this last weekend.
Very cool.
She had mentioned it a while ago. I meant to shout it out earlier, but I hope you had a blast. I'm not sure if you're still on it, but we can't wait to hear all about it. So,
yep. Fantastic. Very happy for you, Julie.
Now, we are going to do today our 6-month financial review. What it was like living full-time in our RV for the first 6 months. And for that time period, we timed it kind of perfect because we were just 2 days shy of doing it all in the Max.
All in the little guy Max, yeah.
So
only 2 days of this whole financial review that you're going to get was in our new Class A. The other 6 months, or the other portion of that, was all little guy Max. So let's, without further ado, let's jump in and give all that info.
So we spent a total on fuel. Do you want to do a rough guess on some of these?
Nope.
Okay. We spent $3,121 in 6 months. Now that encompassed 11,206 miles.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of traveling that first 6 months.
We covered 11 states.
11 states.
And we went all around. For example, when we were in Florida, we went all over the place.
Yep.
In Florida, New Mexico, we kind of went all over
Zigzag
the place.
back and forth in New Mexico.
And then Arizona, we went the long way through. And Texas, just going side to side.
Yeah, that's
alone.
a haul.
That's 800 miles no matter
Through
what.
Texas twice that way.
So, I think we did really well as far as that goes. When we first started, gas prices were a lot lower. We've noticed towards the end here, gas has gone up. We're well over $3
like
here.
$3.30 a gallon right now.
But when we started, we were in like $2.09.
Yeah.
So
I remember once I got, with our discount, it was down to like $1.89 at one place.
And that discount is the
Good Sam's.
Good Sam discount. And that was something, I don't know if you've heard of it, but if you're a Good Sam Club member, you get a 5% off your fuel, but you can also get discounts.
I don't think it's 5%, I think it's 5 cents.
Oh, 5 cents, that's right. But you also get a discount in the store on some of the things that you buy.
And you gain points as well. I don't know what you can use those points for, but you gain points.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yep.
But you get 5 cents off a gallon. Russ used to love watching that number just kind of go down that little bit. And could you explain really quick, because when we first got our card, there were no instructions on how you use this at the pumps. So how do you do that to apply your discount?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gone through one, but basically you put your debit card in, and then it'll ask if you want to use if you have a Pilot rewards program or something like that, because Pilot's and Flying J, you can use your Good Sam's. Whenever you see that, do you want to use a Pilot or Flying J rewards program? That's when you place your Good Sam's card in.
And then it'll apply the discount.
Exactly.
Perfect. Lodging. So we spent a total, now this is 6 months, this is what we spent on lodging expenses, and that's campground fees. Things like $2,655.45.
So what does that average out a night?
I didn't do an average a night.
What?
I know. Yeah, see, you're not allowed to throw me random questions like that. That's why I review things.
All right, guys, somebody do the math. Figure it out for us. But
However,
for 6 months, $2,000 isn't bad.
No, that's not bad at all. And I do have a breakdown of how we spent our lodging nights. Boondocking, we spent 39 nights boondocking. First couple months,
we didn't do much
0.
of that at all. Yeah.
And then as we've been going on, we've been doing more. Last month, 21 days of that was from last
21
month.
of the 39 days.
Or 21 of the last 30 days.
Nice.
So we obviously have been getting more and more comfortable boondocking, being able to find places, and I think being in the Southwest helps as well, because there are a lot more BLM type lands and places that you can boondock out here.
Okay, so we know we boondocked, what, 39 total?
Total.
Okay, so what's next?
Moochdocking. Now at the beginning, on the flip side, we saved some money because we stayed with relatives.
Yep, in both Tennessee and Florida.
65 days. So the equivalent of just over 2 months of our 6 months time period we were moochdocking. State parks, 28 days.
Yeah.
And private parks, those are KOAs, RV resorts, things like that, 50.
I think those numbers, the private and KOA type deal, will significantly drop after the next 6 months.
I agree.
Yeah.
We had talked about it already, that we want to boondock as much as possible, and then maybe going into a regular campground just a couple days a month.
Yeah, I mean, for things, if we just want to spoil ourselves, that's when we'll go.
Exactly. Well, that's true, because when we were first talking about it and planning it, we were still in the Little Guy Max. But now that we have this more...
yeah, but I mean, by spoiling ourselves, I mean going to a pool or something like that.
Russ likes the pool.
Yeah. All right, pressing on.
Pressing on, we are going on to equipment. So this is equipment that we wound up needing while we were on the road, that we needed items. For example, the Goal Zero. When we were in the Little Guy, we needed additional solar energy to boost or to power our cell phones, and my computer, at the very least, his was too powerful for it.
Okay, so
$1,392.
Okay.
Now that includes extra tools that we need.
Yeah, just all the miscellaneous stuff. Okay, I gotcha.
Food.
Here we go.
It's not as bad as I thought, because we've been keeping this type of checklist. It makes you aware of what you're doing. So anybody, you don't have to have a YouTube channel, you don't have to do that. But I suggest, if you are going to go in that full-time RV life, keep records of these types of things, and that way it allows you to learn and make adjustments where necessary. So in 6 months, we spent $4,284. Now, if you look at all the other figures, that is the most expensive category.
Yep.
At the beginning, we spent way more.
Too much.
We
Yeah.
went out to eat a lot.
Yeah, I think didn't we do like 12, 13?
1135. In 1 month, we spent $1,135.
So we are under that $1,000 a month, and it didn't help that several of the beginning months we were way over.
Right. So we averaged. This is the one I got the average for.
Okay.
Was $714 a month.
Yeah, I would like to average in the 600 range. Maybe that's a goal for next 6 months.
We're getting closer to that. We've hovered right around it the last 2-3 months.
Okay.
So we know that we can do that, and I think now with our capability, because we can buy things in bigger bulk.
Yeah, with that bigger refrigerator in here.
And that is another thing that I really didn't think about before. Because we had to buy things in smaller quantities, you do pay a little bit more for those things. So if you have the ability to carry bigger things of food and store them in different places, you can buy that bigger bulk.
Yeah, you can definitely save money buying in bulk, but really I think what hurt us really wasn't the extra money we were in bulk, it was just convenience. We'd be driving 4 hours, pull in, set up, and it was like, do you want to cook? No. Or I'd be super hungry and you're like, okay, it's going to take an hour. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to go get something.
Yeah.
So now that we can have more stuff, it's a lot quicker and a lot easier.
Propane. So for 6 months with us, and we even had a couple instances at the beginning when we had a furnace issue.
Yeah, we lost all of our propane.
We had a bad tube at first, and then we had the bad furnace part where we lost some, but even with that, we spent $148.72 on
Yeah,
propane.
and we were in some pretty cold weather in Tennessee for almost a month straight. And then it got cold in other places as well. So we used quite a bit it wasn't like we were skimping, and
No.
that's pretty darn good, actually. What was that number on propane again?
$148.72.
Not bad.
Now with that, we learned right away from our viewers that when we were plugged in places, we could use a space heater. That way we could save some of our propane. We tried to do that, and we did use it occasionally, but we wound up liking the heat that came from the propane furnace.
When it was really cold, I mean like 30s and below, the propane was much better to use, just because it would come out low and heat everything
from the floor
up.
Because
Whereas
once that floor got cold,
yeah, that floor was frigid. But if you used the electric heat, even if you had it on the floor, it didn't seem to heat the floor well. It heated up high, but the floor was still pretty cold.
Well, and we couldn't even put it on the floor because
yeah, there wasn't any room.
There wasn't a lot of room, and with the dogs, Abby didn't have a lot of places to lie down, and if she would lie down, there were a couple instances where you'd
smell a little
her
burning
fur.
hair.
And so I was kind of worried about that. So we never were able to really set it down on the floor to kind of maximize that.
Yeah.
Laundry. We spent $211 doing our laundry.
Yeah, you know, that's not too bad because we also did a couple of...
well, that's when Russ had to do laundry.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a couple of fold and whatever.
Wash and fold
services.
Which is convenient, I will say.
But yeah, I mean, lately though, out here we haven't been wanting to, we just been wanting to save a little bit. You've been doing hand washing of our laundry in 2 different buckets, and then we've been drying it out in this great desert sun. And I got to tell you, the clothes are nice and clean. They smell good, and they're nice and soft too.
It dries really quick out here.
Yeah.
And I remember when we lived out here before that, just line drying, and there's just something about when you have sheets and they're line dry with that fresh air.
Yeah.
As long as the dune buggies aren't going by with the clouds of dust to kind of cover it.
Yeah, you couldn't do that in Moab, could you?
And you could not do it in Sedona.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean Moab, I meant Sedona.
Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't do that in Sedona.
Well, we could, but everything we have would be pink.
Yeah, you'd have
dirt.
a slightly orange t-shirt.
So that's really all I had. Oh, and I said 11 states.
11 states.
That we had. I think I said that when we did the mileage.
Okay, so let's give a quick rundown again. Write down the numbers because we did chit chat in between.
All right. So
let's just write down the numbers.
Write down the numbers. Gas, we spent $3,121. Lodging, we spent $2,655. Equipment, $1,392. Food, $4,284. Propane, $148.72. Laundry, $211. And total miles, 11,206.
In 11 states.
And 11 states.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, well guys, I hope this information was useful and valuable for you. If there's other information you would like, we are going to be doing this every 6 months. We're going to give you a 6 months rundown of how much it costs for us to live. But if there's something that we're missing, please let us know. You can leave a comment below, and then there's also multiple other ways to get a hold of us.
You can reach us at theroadsweroam.com. Click on that contact page or the send voicemail tab, which is a little orange tab on the right-hand side of any screen. And you can also get a hold of us at Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. So let us know what you think. Let us know some tips or suggestions on how we might be able to cut some of these costs further.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of great information. That's huge.
Especially with a Class A. We didn't even plan that.
Yeah.
Synchronization. So that's all we have for today. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow during our live stream as well. So talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.